Hello, everyone. Welcome to Batch Cooking Day. I used to do these like when I first started my journey, just batch cooking, not a video like this or anything, just literally kind of prepping and deciding, hey, how do I want to go about batch cooking? And let me explain to you what batch cooking is. Batch cooking is literally just having a plan, doing those three P's. You're going to plan, you're going to prep, and you're going to prepare during the week. And so if you are on Starch Solution and you want to make sure you're getting your starches and your vegetables, you're in the right place, because batch cooking is all about being able to prep enough food, possibly for the week, depending if you want to do this once a week or twice a week, and you get to decide what that looks like. And for batch cooking for me, I just try to kind of create a plan. I don't have a specific meal plan from what we're going to batch today, but overall, I can pull from this soup, the hummus, the ranch dressing, the potatoes, and make an amazing meal. So as we kick off, I always say, my kitchen, my rules, and that goes for you as well. So there may be things that you see in my kitchen that you wouldn't want to do in your kitchen. That's okay. We all have our method. And the one thing I do need to say is the one thing people always critique me about is I like to store my potatoes that are not cooked, like sweet potato, regular potatoes, in the fridge in a like cotton bag. And I live in Arizona, and so it gets warm. It can get warm in the house or warmer in the pantry. And so I just like to do that. And so I just want to say it's your kitchen, it's your rules. You decide how you wash your produce, how you store your produce, and all of those beautiful things. So I'm excited to get started with you all today. I did do a little bit of prep just to make sure that we could kind of move in a good form. So let's just say you have an hour. And in this case, we're doing the hummus, we're doing the ranch dressing, we are steaming potatoes, and we're making a soup. And so I know my potatoes are going to at least take, with the Instant Pot, my cook time's only like probably 6 minutes on them, but I want to make sure that those are done. So we're going to start with the potatoes today. And what I like to do, and you do not need to do this, this is kind of like, I'm just kind of showing you some of my methods of how I like to eat my food. This doesn't mean that you need to do this, but for me, I like to peel my sweet potatoes and my russet potatoes. And this is something that I actually started doing about a month ago, and it's delicious. And so I cut already some russet potatoes, and I like to soak them in water just to kind of get like anything extra off of them. But before we get started, I want you to make sure that you're making this fun. So for me, I just warmed up some tea. So let me grab that. So I warmed up some tea, and this is my molasses tea, a little bit of soy milk. And if I wasn't with you guys right now, I would be listening to a podcast or music. I love podcasts around food because I'm in the kitchen and it's like inspiring me to make this food, you know? So if you're feeling in a rut, get in the kitchen, listen to something about how food is just going to fuel you, get into comfortable clothes, and just feel good. So it's really about kind of the environment we put ourselves in and making sure that we kind of feel prepared. We're nourishing our bodies with this food, but we can also nourish our minds. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the potatoes. A lot of this is I already washed all this morning, by the way. And so what I do is I like to wash everything with my RO system over here in my sink. But once again, it's your kitchen, your rules. And so you don't have to take the skins off your potatoes. Like if I had a yellow potato, I probably wouldn't take the skin off. But with the russet potato, and I'm going to Instant Pot it, I like this method. And so I'm not going to be able to show you today, but what I'm actually going to do with these russet potatoes is I'm going to put them in the Instant Pot with you guys because I'm prepping my starch. This is my starch that I'm prepping. And then during the week, I get to like cut it up in smaller pieces and I put it into my Breville air fryer machine on parchment paper for 15 or 20 minutes. So you can like keep them, you know, larger, or you can kind of dice them. But I like that they're pre-cooked, they're already steamed. And here's the thing, since they're steamed, you could just heat them up, but I like them a little bit crispy. And so this is a new method that I've been doing. So I love putting potatoes in some kind of bowl. You can make French fries from them. Just so many good options. See, the thing is I'm cutting these right now, but you could use a peeler, but I like to cut. Once again, you get to decide. But you can just kind of see different methods. I will say that this is my compost bin, so I'm just putting all my scraps in my little compost bin. So it's also too is kind of like setting up your environment so that you feel good in it as you're cooking. And just kind of preparing. It can be hard to watch somebody cut, so I'm always showing you how I'm cut. But this is I want you to see kind of a real life demo of how I, you know, go about this. And once again, you could do a whole ton of potatoes, but I do this about 2 to 3 times a week with my potatoes. Because I actually only have a 3-quart Instant Pot. I actually got rid of my 5-quart because I just wasn't using it as often. And so I thought, I'll just go small. And I've actually been enjoying my 3. And so so because these are actually smaller potatoes, that's just all they had at the store, I'm probably only going to Instant Pot it for like 4 minutes. And so cook times always are different. But if I were to put this big guy in there, I would probably do like 12 minutes, but I'm probably going to cut him down a little bit so that he cooks well. But once again, I'm putting the potato in there so that it can start cooking, right? Because once I get an Instant Pot, I don't have to do anything else, which is awesome. And then just let it cool off. The key here with when steamed potatoes is let them cool off almost to room temperature before you put them into the fridge. That just like really, it does really help. And it will do that exactly with the soup as well. So, you know, I'm not taking everything off of it, but I don't know. I've been really, really enjoying this. So in this case, this is kind of small. I'll probably do one more cut here. A really tough potato here. And then once again, I'm just soaking them in water. Sometimes it gets like just the extra residue or any like little clippings that I didn't get. And then I'm just going to take my 3-quart right here and just put a little bit of water in the bottom. And I'm going to put my sweet potatoes first in here. And I really think I'm only going to do it probably about 4 minutes. And then I'll probably do like a half release. I won't do a full natural release. I'll probably go ahead. So like you can, inside of my water here, there's just a little bit of residue. So I'm just getting rid of it. And then keep throwing all my compost away. And I also try to clean up as much as I can when I move through kind of cooking, just so I don't have a ton of mess. So as you can see here. And so I'm pressure cooking it. I'm at a normal mode. I'm gonna do 4 minutes, and I'm keeping the keep warm off because I want it to not be warm. So done, right? Potatoes are done for the week or forever how long you're gonna go. And that's your sign. All right. So let's move into we'll kind of keep switching off. These are all the vegetables. I got a bunch of salad already that I put away, but these are some of the vegetables that we're gonna cut here in a little bit. Just clean off my knife. So I think we're gonna move into the ranch dressing. So here we go. Got the Vitamix, any kind of blender is good. And it's 1 can of white beans I've already strained and measured out here. And once again, I'm gonna put all this in my sink because I'm gonna just, when I get done, I'll just put everything in my dishwasher and that's great. 1/4 cup of cashews, you could even do less. So just depending, I don't even soak them. And then let me get the unsweetened soy milk and the white vinegar. And I'm really bad measuring stuff out, so I probably should since I'm demoing this.
Liz, it's Jackie. Do you need to, does the vinegar need to be cold?
No, I just put mine in the fridge.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. And then I have 1/2 cup. So I think this is like the best ranch dressing because I'm also just adding just dill as a little extra. And I'm hardly blending it. So you're gonna see this in a second. So there's that. And then I'll get my measuring. And this should last me like all week. So 1 tablespoon. You guys think I'm like following directions, but I rarely do. So I'm gonna do half. So 1.5 tablespoons. So that's good. And as you can kind of see, I'm just rinsing stuff just so that if I have to use it again while we're all here together, that's what we'll do. And then we have salt. And I like to put maybe a little extra salt, so that's kind of up to you, but a half. Or you can do a heaping. There we go. And then we have garlic and onion powder right here. And it is a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. I have labels underneath of these so that I know what they are. And then a 1/4 of onion. All right, and that's it. So we're gonna put the lid on. We're gonna blend it. Be a little loud. You can see it's a little thick, but once again, the thing about sauces is if it's runny, it will become a little bit thicker as it gets cold. So just keep that in mind. So if you like the consistency, like this kind of seems more of like a mayo consistency. I might have used a few more extra, cashews or, just there's little things that can come up. So I'm just going to put a splash of water. And this is where you have to start deciding how you want your food so that it tastes good.
Liz, I'm good. While you're doing that, can you just tell me the recipe? Because I'm gonna make it while you're doing that. So it's a can of chickpeas.
Yep, and I put it onto Slack as well, I think yesterday, but it's no, it's white beans, 1 can of
Oh,
white
white
beans,
beans.
1/4 cup of cashews, 1/2
Yeah.
cup of non-dairy milk, 1.5 tablespoons of white vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 of onion powder. And then the key here is not to blend your dill. I don't like parsley in my, if you look like at a ranch dressing, it says parsley, but it turns it a little bit spicy and I don't like that.
Okay.
So it says only an 1/8 teaspoon of dill, but you know, I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's just what I do.
Thank you.
And then blend it. That's it. We're done. So in that case, I think it's fun to store it in a cute container too. This is just like probably a marinara container or something, but you can tell. And I mean, I would always just taste it, right? So good. So good. I mean, and here's the thing, I could have probably put a little bit more water in it. Like you see how I diluted it down with water and not soy milk. And I mean, I think that just keeps kind of the calories down too, if that's something that you're thinking about. But this is gonna last me all week. I mean, it's a lot, especially when you add those cashews. But like the cashews is really, you know, we're only using 1/4 a cup, and you don't even have to use the cashews. You could even use a tablespoon of cashews if you're really trying to lose weight and keep your fat content, you know, pretty low. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, it's quite a bit. And all right, for filming purposes, I won't scrape it too much, but there we go. And you literally have ranch dressing to put on your salads, put on your roasted vegetables. You can dip your French fries in it. Like there's so many options, and we'll talk at the end once we kind of make our stuff. But like that literally took like 5 minutes. And if I wasn't talking through it, it probably would have taken a lot less. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm gonna go put it away in the fridge. And I would say it would last 5 to 7 days. I don't really waste food, so I could probably stretch it a little bit longer. But a little bit of residue could come up and like it might separate, but just stir it up. No big deal. All right. So literally that's done, which is great. We are going to go ahead and probably prep some veggies. Why not? And I for the purpose of today, I actually already cut a few things up in the fridge, just so you didn't just have to see me chop, 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 chop. But I didn't do my zucchini. And that will be really good. So right now I just filled up my Vitamix so it doesn't get like hard inside the Vitamix, and I'll clean it later. And now I know I'm moving into my zucchinis. I already washed them. And I let them sit out a little bit because you don't want them wet. And you get to decide when you're cutting things up like this, you get to decide how small or how big you want them. You could even cut them in the middle if you wanted to. Like once again, I'm doing 2 at a time because if you're in the kitchen, like why not make your process a little bit faster? And I'm using about a 4 cup, and I usually, if I steam zucchini, I probably would eat like a 1/4 a cup or half of that. So that this could be 1 or 2 meals, but I just kind of decide, you know, how many containers I have for the week to use. And I'm using my big 7 cup for my cabbage because my cabbage is pretty big. But it's so nice to have like, you know, whether you compost or not, just have like a bowl or a little trash something that you can just kind of just like create your workstation. It's so important just to, I don't have knife skills, girls. So don't watch me for learning how to cut with a knife. So the Instant Pot just heated up. Went through a cycle. It's now at 4 minutes. So it's gonna cook in there for 4 minutes. So I think I got 6 zucchini for the week. For me, zucchini, I love to steam it, but I also really enjoy roasting it now, roasting it with some mushrooms. Like you guys, a great meal would be like a bed of rice or a bed of potatoes, like diced up and cooked in the air fryer with some like roasted zucchini and mushrooms, pour a little bit of the ranch dressing across it, and then about a tablespoon of the hummus we're gonna make. And that's kind of what I'm gonna do this week is I'm gonna make a bunch of nourish bowls. I call them nourish bowls, but in this case, I'm gonna use white rice, and I also made 3 servings of quinoa already this morning. And so I just did 1 cup of quinoa with 2 cups of water, and I cooked it on the stovetop just a little while ago, let it cool, and I put it in the fridge. And so I'm making nourish bowls this week. So I'm really actually pretty excited because I'm gonna like probably roast some vegetables. I opened a can of corn. I have organic pickled beets. I have artichoke hearts, and I'm just gonna kind of put a meal together. So I'm gonna put like lettuce, possibly some quinoa over the top, roasted vegetables, and then just like added condiments. You guys all know I love sauerkraut, so I'll put some sauerkraut on top of it. So I'm gonna really make a lot of nourishing bowls. And that's why I decided to go with this batch list for you guys, because the ranch and the ranch and the hummus is so versatile in what you can put it on. Hummus, you can dip your raw, veggies for the week, which is great. Put it on top of a nourish bowl. I mean, you could turn it into a salad dressing if you wanted to, just add a little bit of water. So like you can see, I know just from experience that six zucchinis basically is 2 Pyrex. So this could possibly be 1 to 2 meals each. So I possibly could have 2 to 4 meals just with my zucchini, depending on how much I'm wanting. Like if I steam it, I'll have a lot, but if I'm like roasting it, I'll probably use half of this with a bunch of mushrooms. So there, that's perfectly done. I got 2 cucumbers. I'm chopping 1 today, and I like to keep the other one in plastic just because it lasts a little bit longer. But in this case, I'm getting ready to make this cucumber so that I can make a salad. So like when I go to make my salad this week, these are already going to be cut to the size that I want. Look, so I just cut it. And then I can just grab all these bowls and containers out of the fridge and build bowls from rice, quinoa, potatoes, everything. And so this is really why I wanted to show you all this, is because I just think it's so great to be in a place where you have all of this batched and you're just like ready to go with it. And once again, I think the key to eating fruits and vegetables in general is to know how you like them sized and cooked. Once I mastered that, I can make any type of meal. All right, our 4 minutes is up. I said I was going to do like a half release. So I'm going to let it sit in there for a little bit. And then if I forget, ping me. But here, like once again, I'm just making small. I like to make really small. I like to make my veggies small in a salad because then it feels like a chopped salad. And to make the best salad, what I would do, y'all, is put a bunch of lettuce in here and then any vegetables that you want and stir it with the ranch dressing and get everything nice and coated. Then put it in the bowl that you're going to eat it out of. That's the key. And these are just things that I've learned over time, how I like food. I don't like to eat a salad where like the lettuce is all the way on my side of my cheek and I'm trying to get it in my mouth. That's just not enjoyable. I actually like to eat a salad with a spoon if I can. So, all right, we might put this into two of these containers. We'll see what we can get here. And also too, like just having the right containers is key too, like how they stack in your fridge, how much room you have for them, all of that. As you can tell, I'm making a mess, but just it'll be easy to clean up. And why not snack on your veggies anyways when you're making them? So there we have that. All right, we are going to move on to the soup. And the soup, this is basically how you can make any type of soup. There is nothing that you can't make as a soup. So this soup is a simple bean soup. So I strained butter beans, you can use anything, cooked lentils already, and kidney beans. So I literally rinse these and drain them with my RO water, and I have beans. This is 3 cups total. So what I'm gonna do now, in order to start prepping the soup, is you start sauteing with onion and garlic. That's what I like. And you start sauteing it on your stovetop, and you're gonna water it down with water to start caramelizing. But I like a full onion in my soups. I mean, this is gonna be probably a lot of soup. It'll probably last me Monday through Friday, and I like to have a soup and a salad now for lunch, just really comforting. Once again, you get to cut the onion up based on the size that you're gonna wanna eat it in your soup. And so I'm kind of cutting it up to like the size of a bean, possibly, right? So you can do this, like you can make a tomato-based soup by just adding a can of tomatoes, diced tomatoes, pureed tomatoes. You could just use veggie broth. You can literally use whatever. In this case, I'm not putting a starch in it, but you could put rice in it. You could put potatoes in it and cook it down. I mean, the possibilities are really endless. And so here's my pan, my container that I'm going to use, and I'm going to put all of the onions in here. And I have a few garlic cloves. You can use, if you want to, have the already cut, you can do that. And so I'm just basically just cutting these kind of small, like I have like a little tool that makes this small, but why get another tool dirty? Woo, these onions are making me tear up, guys. So, and the reason we're starting the soup now is because it's going to take a little bit. And if we're all together, we're probably going to do the hummus next or do some more veggies. In my case, if it wasn't, I would just be kind of alternating back and forth between cutting up veggies and making these items based on time. Ooh, I need to wipe my eyes. Okay, where is my... And I always like to have enough towels, I'm constantly rinsing my hands. So here we are. And I'm just gonna start it at a medium. I'm gonna cook it down, and I'm gonna have my pitcher of water right here so that when I need to add a little bit of water to it as it sautés down, that's what I'll do. So I got my spatula. We're just gonna start kind of letting this cook. We have the beans right here, so we'll put those behind there. And then we are putting in some frozen veggies. And this is the thing, you could add in fresh veggies. You can add in fresh veggies. You can add in really anything you want. But this is like the cheat for me, like I vacuum sealed these and I've had them for a while and I'm trying to use them. And so I'm like, I really just want, because I'm gonna have my starch in my salad when I make it this week, like rice, potatoes, or quinoa. I'm making a bean soup so that it doesn't have a starch. But if you wanted to fill both, you would put a starch in here. But I know I'm already going to get my starch during that meal, so I just don't need to. So we're not going to add anything to this until it really sautés down. And we'll add a little bit of broth, better than bouillon you use. You can buy the, the 4 to 8 cups at the store. But I like to just put this out a little bit. And I vacuum seal anything that really goes in the freezer because I do not like freezer burn stuff. Okay, so that's just cooking down. So we're just gonna not even worry about that. But as you get going, start putting away all of your items in the fridge. And we're gonna just start the hummus, because why not? And then so now the blender's done, so I'm just putting it away. We're not using it anymore. And I have this, my food processor, but you can also blend this using a Vitamix. I saved this and I use it. So here we are. This hummus is so good. Okay, so in this case, I gave you the full recipe in the attachment, but here's the thing. You can tell that I'm already having a lot of beans. So I had 1 can in the ranch dressing. I have 3 cans for the soup. And so I'm only going to use 1 cup of garbanzo beans. So I'm adjusting the recipe, and you get to do that as well. However you see fit or how you want it. I don't need a lot of hummus this week because I have other things. So I just did garbanzo beans. So I'm kind of halving it or even less. Garlic cloves, it says 1 to 2. I like a lot of garlic, so 1, 2. Tahini, once again, 2 tablespoons. It's not even a lot. You could actually omit it if you really wanted to. It's just going to make it a little bit more creamier. So I'm going to probably use about tablespoon because I'm halving it. So I don't need to use the full amount. We have lemon juice. Mussels. So once again, 1 to 2 tablespoons. It depends like how lemony you want it, but I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon with that. Cumin. See, I'm not really measuring. All right. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. All right, so we're gonna get it. It's really gonna be challenging to get on. So here's the key. I warmed up a little bit of hot water today. So this is like warm water. I'm gonna see if it turns on. Sometimes it doesn't turn on right away. Yeah, it does. Okay. So so here's the key. For this hummus, a little bit of warm water goes a long ways to make it creamy. So watch it. Adding some water to this. Started getting brown on the bottom. I can start smelling the onions. It's gonna let that cook down. So in this case, because I didn't do the 3 cups, it's having a hard time like bringing it down on its on this because there's not as much to be worked with. So I'm just gonna bring this down 1 more time. Put it back on. The key is that warm water. There's something about it. All right. It's gonna be so good, so good. So once again, take this off, take this out. Grab any type of spatula. So this batch day, if you eat everything, this is five cans of beans throughout the week, which I think is great. So we have this, and I'm just gonna even it out in here and be able to use this for so many amazing things this week. And there we go. All right, let's check on our soup here. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Oh, the only thing I didn't put in it is a little bit of the chili flakes. In this case, you could, I do not like to put them in that machine and grind them up because I think it tends to be a little too spicy for me. So in this case, I'd put them over the top here and just mix them in. All right, dressing is already done. Oh, okay, potatoes. Let's see here. Oh, already natural release. I'm gonna rinse this out. I rarely have to wash this kind of stuff because it just is just water. And what I like to do is I like to take it out. Oh, I also have this basket. I don't think I showed you all, but this is really nice because what I do is I actually put this in my sink and it doesn't touch the bottom of the sink. So it can just sit in here and cool, which I like because if there was any water residue left, it would go away. Okay, we gotta focus on soup now because it's getting pretty brown on the bottom, but that's good. As you can tell, it's pretty cooked down. Oh, this is gonna be great. And this is so easy because there you could put seriously any food. So once again, got my beans, putting them in. Veggies. Put them in. You could put the lid on if you wanted to. You can do whatever you want. Usually I put in this recipe when I made it a few weeks ago, 4 to 6 cups of water. I'm gonna start with 4. You can always add more. And if you were using a veggie broth that already had a veggie broth, you would just put it in. One of those like containers that the soy milk is 4 cups. So I'm gonna do 4 cups and I'm gonna get my better than bouillon. And once again, with better bouillon, you can add more or less. I'm gonna probably do, recipe calls for veggie cubes. So I'm gonna, what's that, y'all? It's whatever you want. I just eyeball it because I've just done it for so long and you can just kind of keep adjusting for flavors. So basically, I think that's literally everything that the recipe is. So we are just gonna let it cook down and see what we got. But I would just stir it a little bit. I'm gonna put the lid on and just do like a medium heat and just have it kind of all cooked down. Okay. So that is done. We can put the better bouillon away. So we did the onion, garlic cloves, water for sauteing. The veggie broth is done, frozen, mixed vegetables. In this recipe, you can use pinto beans, garbanzo beans, lentils. The thing here is I like to change it up so I'm not constantly always having the same beans. So the cool thing is we had garbanzo beans, white beans, and then another kind of white bean with kidney beans and then lentils in this. Such a wide variety of beans. It's so good. So, so good. All right, so we have our hummus done. We have our ranch done. We are cooking our soup. We already steamed the potatoes. So we literally have the prepped, we're gonna finish the veggies. I'm gonna do the tofu. And also I didn't do any canned beans because this is gonna be my bean for the week. If I didn't do this soup, what I would do is I would do like 2 to 3 cans of beans and drain them out, whatever bean, to add to my salads or add to anything that I wanted to. And so I'm trying to incorporate beans a little bit more now that I'm at my weight loss that I have desired. And so I don't feel they're just good. They're good. So perfect. Okay, we are gonna continue here. And you know, when you're doing this on your own, feel free to just you know, take a break and continue, you know, or cleaning up and just kind of go as you see you need to. But this bean soup, this is great because like I usually make it on like a Sunday night and then I eat it Sunday night and then I package it in my containers for the rest of the week and it's awesome. All right, so let's go. We got our 2 cabbages we have to do. And I already peeled my carrots, okay? And I cleaned them and I cut them. And so we're good there. But we're just gonna cut some up for salads and we are going to keep some for snacking. So I'm taking this whole bag and deciding, you know, how I'll use them. So I got the hummus, so I'm gonna dip this week. And actually that other cucumber, we might just cut that cucumber up today, why not? And I'm gonna cut it in circles. So then a snack or part of my meals could be carrots and cucumbers dipped in, heck, the ranch dressing or the hummus. So here's what I like to do with my carrots. So if you see this side's small, this side's large, I cut it in half. I use the large side and I cut it in half for dipping. So this is a dip. And so I need to get one more. I did my math, but I'm gonna use these for my cut up carrots for a salad. And then these are gonna go inside for the eating. Make sure you can see it. So once again, there's no or right way. This is just how I do it. So like you have to decide, or would you eat this? Like would you, or do you need to, I like it like this on the bigger ones, but smaller ones, I don't have to cut that many times. These are going to be great because I can just go once again, personal preference on how you want to snack on them or have them for salads. And so this week, if I have rice, I have frozen rice. And so if you're wondering why I'm not batching rice, I already have it in the freezer and I just have to like warm it up really quick. I mean, I like these carrots even for steaming them, or you could roast them. It's up to you. Like this, I would steam these. And if I was roasting, I was gonna use the small ones that I'm gonna cut up. But this, I think, takes the longest, is just cutting up the veggies the way I do. You know, you can buy a lot of veggies and stuff, but I spend a lot of time, I would say at least probably 30 minutes cutting on the weekends, just because I love my meals are so quick because I have everything done and that just feels really, really nice. So there we are. So we have, so I'm basically just like putting it in a 4 cup. And then what I'm doing here is I'm gonna cut these in half. I mean, I could have put this in the food processor too and like got these really small. Once again, just personal preference of how you want to do this. But if I already have all of these cut, I'll for sure be making salads. And like, you know, if I were to roast some, I might roast this with like my zucchini. But when you have it prepped, there's no excuse. I also like to kind of challenge myself and be like, whoa, I just bought all these veggies. How can I eat them? And I usually do. I don't really eat out much. But in this case, like there's so much food that I can have now with these staples that we just did. Um, so like I can also air fry some French fries with the zucchini with the tofu that we're gonna cut up because it's ready and it's prepped, which is just so good. And I can smell the soup. It smells really good. The key to a soup is onion, garlic, saute, add in veggies, starch, beans, really anything, and then decide, do you want it a veggie broth style, or would you like tomato? So in this case, depending on how this looks, I may go in my pantry and add 1 can of tomatoes. But I'm just gonna taste it and see. Then I'm gonna taste it if I need to maybe add a little bit more salt to it, other than the better than bouillon. So it's literally just personal preference. So you could make, oh, and also another key about soups is if I wanted this soup creamy, at the end of it, I would take about 1 to 2 cups and put it in my Vitamix and then pour it back into there and it would be way creamy, way creamy. So like if you want to do creamy, that's how you make creamy soups. Or you could blend in 1 to 2 cups of the beans and the broth and it's just like it's just creamy. Or if you didn't do beans and you did like potato corn chowder, what you would do is you could take like a half a cup of beans and put that in that mixture and put it in the Vitamix. And that's how you make a salad without even adding like plant milk in it, which you can also add plant milk into your soups at the very end. You could even put like a splash of lime or lemon, which would be really yummy in a soup. So just so many options. That's what people always ask me for. I actually have a playlist on my YouTube of a bunch of soups because I used to do recipes, but I don't even do recipes now because it's like whatever I'm feeling. Like I didn't even know I had those butter beans and I had the butter beans and I was like, I probably should use them. So that's why we're using them today, even though the recipe on your sheet is a little bit different. But that's the cool part is you get to adjust. So here we are. We have our fresh carrots for the week. This ends up being 4 cups and 2 cups, total of 6. We're gonna check on the soup in a minute here. Also, here's I like getting the super firm high protein. I'm not doing it because of the high protein. I just like that it's really thick. And I just like the texture of it. I also don't have to put it in a tofu press, which is nice as well. So I'm just grabbing this because I saw it in the fridge. So I'm just gonna let it, just cut it up real quick. And once again, I like a just a thing like this, and I just push it right into my sink, and I have like a sink like strainer thing that it won't go down the sink. All right, so tofu, I cut into a few different sizes. So on the side, I just did 3 cuts. And I'm gonna do 1 cut and 2 cuts on the top. And then once again, it's just based on size, what you want your tofu to be. And you would do the same with beans, just open a can of beans, strain it, maybe let them dry out for a few minutes, and then put them in a container like I'm doing with this tofu, and that's it. Tofu for the week. We'll finish this cucumber, how about? And this one I'm gonna do for dipping, as I mentioned. Worst case, if I run out of the one for the salads, I can just cut this down even more. So here we go. Feel free to snap. I like to do them at an angle. They look like chips. Once again, cut to how you want to eat. If this was just like a plain circle, it might not be as fun to snack on. And so do it at an angle and it looks like a chip. It's great for dipping because like I can dip this in ranch and fill it halfway full. And that's great. All right, I'm gonna put this in a 4-cupper here. And I can just tell that the soup's just cooking down and it's just great. And smell it. But I think most of eating this way is finding out how you like to eat your food. Okay, so for an example, if I wanted to make a sushi roll and I just had the cut up ones that I did for the salads, what I would do is I would cut this in these strips, because then I could lay this in the sushi roll. So good. Right, there's that. Gonna check on our soup here. Yep, it's cooking down. And 4 cups of water was actually quite a bit. It's a little, I'm gonna show you all. It's a little runny, but I'm just gonna continue to let it cook down. And then I'll decide what I'm gonna do. But just cooking it down is key. All right, we got our good old cabbage here. You know, or you don't know, you should be steaming cabbage because it's crunchy and it's buttery and it is delicious. Delicious. I even like to roast it. I like to just put it in raw into my salads as well. And so here we are. Here's our potatoes. Okay. And so what I'm going to do for the potatoes, I may not need that big of a container. Let me see. I'm going to use a small container. And here's my little perfect potatoes. And I'm going to let them sit out a little bit longer even, because I want them to cool off. And I feel like there's something in there. Okay. These, I wish I could have gotten bigger ones, to be honest, at the store last night, but the bags of them just didn't have big potatoes. Because I got the organic ones, but that's okay. And these are gonna be perfect, so I can eat them as a whole. Or I can dice them up and air fry them, which would be really good as well. Let me grab my lid, and I'm just gonna set these over to the side so that they can cool a little bit more. I'm gonna drink some tea. So on the prepped veggie portion, I said cauliflower. I didn't buy any cauliflower. I felt like I already had a lot of veggies, which I'm gonna show you my full display once we get done. So here we are. This I feel like is the most work. To get it to how I like a cabbage, this can be a little bit of work, but it's totally worth it. And I could buy already cut cabbage. I don't think it tastes the same. Once again, personal preference. The crunch of cabbage. If you know, you know to eat cabbage. Cabbage is a good option if you're doing a 50-50 in the morning because it's not like crazy with like a ton of flavor. Like, y'all, I don't like this. So, you know, once again, I'm okay throwing a little extra away because it is my compost. Because the thing is, if you cut something and you end up not liking it, you won't eat it. So cut it how you like it. In this case, I'm cutting it into chunks again because I'm mostly going to use it for salads. I may steam it. See how I'm like, may? I don't even know what the plan is. And you just start filling your container and then we're going to continue cutting it. I feel like this is one of the best parts of a cabbage here. See how I'm doing it pretty thin because that's just how I like it. And then flip it. I cut it. You have to find a way to fall in love with being in the kitchen. But you start falling in love in the kitchen because then you start eating good and you're feeling better and you start looking different when you eat this kind of food. High fiber food, nutrient dense, allows you to move your bowels around. It's just good food. It's just good food. All right, we're making our way through the cabbage. Once again, I just kind of move. So I want to show y'all something. I go around these pieces. I don't like the cabbage in these. So you can see I'm kind of grabbing sections of the cabbage that I know I like. Don't put it in your bowl until you are happy with it based on how you're going to eat it and almost have it ready. So that's why you can see when I did my veggies today, I did some differently than others. Because once again, here's the thing, I could have kept that cucumber in there undone, but I'm already doing it, so I might as well just get it done, right? So I kind of have a lot left. So I kind of go through the middle, but sometimes I don't like the middle. I just see how it comes out. See the middle of it? No, I don't like it. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna move over to this side and see kind of what I can get out of it. See what my cabbage can give me. But once again, it starts getting too thick up here. I don't like it. Compost, you know? So once again, I believe that most one cabbage fits in a 7-cup Pyrex. And that was a pretty big one, which is great. And cabbage you can really get down. So there we go. Don't want to mix my cabbage, so we like this. Clean off everything. Clean the knife off for the next cabbage. Then check the soup. Soup is good. It's just cooking down just how I want it. And because I put the 4 cups in and it still seems pretty watery, I probably won't do tomato base today. But if I really wanted tomato base, I would. So just really situational as you go and checking the flavor profile. I had already washed the outside of this and took the dirty layer off, just so you. But this is what I don't like. This like really weird, I don't like it. So I get rid of it. And I use what I like. So the soup and this cabbage is one of the last things. We are 1 hour in to this. And so, I mean, technically you could be done in about an hour if, you know, I wasn't doing the actual filming of it. You could probably get this done in about an hour and literally have all your meals prepped and ready to go for the week. Pretty magical. Here's the thing, if you go to work, I would create a salad in a jar or create a bowl ahead of time. Like I would make, like after I got all this prepped and in the fridge, I'd go back into the fridge and make my meals for like maybe 2 or 3 days. And that could be really helpful. That would be additional prep, but then you wouldn't have to do it in the morning because it would literally have been done. I'm telling you, the cabbage is the most work, I feel like. So if you like the cabbage at the grocery store that's already cut, the slaw, I would do that if you want to save on time. I just really like to eat cabbage from the raw cabbage. I also think when you cut it today, this could last 2 or 3 weeks in the fridge. It won't last because I'm going to eat it. But if you have a hard time with stuff going bad, focus on cabbage. Start to learn to love cabbage because it just doesn't go bad. It's great. It's worth, you know, finding out what you like to enjoy your meals. And if I knew I was going to steam this, I may not cut it on both angles. I may keep it long strips because I do enjoy that. But I'm primarily probably going to put it in my salads this week. So I need to find this side of it. Start just, and I'm like really doing thin slices. That's how I like it. But yes, I'm really excited this week about the things that we are batching today because I'm making Nourish bowls. And I'll talk to you about, I'll show you the remaining items that I already kind of just have in the fridge. That I'll be pulling from. But a salad in a jar is basically taking a mason jar and putting your dressing at the bottom, okay? However much dressing you want. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put like carrots and cucumbers and beans on the bottom of it. Because you don't want to put the lettuce on top of it, because your lettuce could get soggy. So that's what you would do, and then start layering it with anything that you wanted. Some corn would be great on the bottom. Artichoke hearts would be, beets would be fine. It's gonna turn your ranch dressing, you know, red or pink or whatever. And then lettuce at the very top. And those are really good. They last in the fridge 3 to 5 days. So that could be a really good option for you if you work and you're already prepping in the kitchen today, is make yourself some Nourish Bowl. If you could throw some tofu in the bottom if you wanted to. Just so many options of what you could do. You could add in some quinoa at the bottom, or even some rice at the bottom, which I would probably do. And I feel like that would be really good. The soup's looking really good. It's thickening up. So I'll just make a game time decision once it like almost is cooked down I'm gonna taste it and just see, do I want a tomato base, or am I gonna skip that this week? I actually didn't buy any tomatoes. So if I'm really trying to get in as many, you know, fruits and vegetables this week, that could be a good option. Another thing I didn't add to this week is doing overnight oats, which I may do later after I get off, but doing like 3 days of overnight oats, that would be a great option to have like 3, you know, just line up 3 jars, put in your oats, sweetener, cinnamon, banana, possibly any additional fruit, add in, you know, half water, half soy milk or what, non-dairy milk, and those would be ready for you. So many options. There's really no excuse. If you get in the kitchen for one day and just do this, you can do it. And you'll thrive. And you'll start to enjoy when you start eating the fruits of your labor. I think is really cool. Like, I love having a full fridge. And then at the end of the week, like going and like being like, ooh, what am I gonna restock on? This is cool. I empowered myself to eat really good food this week, and I prepared and I made good choices. That alone is empowering. But when you spend the time, like, just think how much time I'm spending on this cabbage. I'm gonna love it more because I literally am making it identical to how I love it. And like, if I were to go to like a place like a Cava, they make these bowls. Well, I'm gonna make my own this week. And so that's literally basically what I'm doing. See, it's getting really too big and I just don't like it. So I'm almost at my 7 cups, and I just know I could, if I didn't want to waste that, I could cut it, but then it's gonna sit in the fridge because I'm gonna know that I just didn't enjoy it. And I'm like, I don't want to eat it, but it's in there. Da, da, da. Don't put yourself in that position. Yeah. Here we go. And your cutting board and your hands will be colored for a little while, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And then for me, the soup, I'm going to put in individual 2 cups because once again, I'm going to have it with my salad. So I'm going to have a big salad, and that's going to be great. So here we are. Here's the soup. And it's looking pretty good. It's thickening up actually really nicely. And so you can see it's just super simple and it's going to be flavorful, and I'm going to try it. Oh, I need to put my lemon away. Whew, so good. And we didn't have to cut, or we had to cut the onion and garlic. That's the only thing we had to cut. The veggies were already done, which is awesome. Which is great. So I'm gonna put some in a little bowl so I don't burn my mouth. We're gonna try it. Yeah, I mean, it could, like, you literally could put tomatoes in this, like one like small can. Yum. I'm gonna let this chill for a second. I'm gonna put this away. I'm gonna show you my fridge too, based on what I have all prepped. Which is gonna be great for you to see. I'm gonna put the cabbage away as before I do my taste test. Okay, let's try it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, cumin's out from the hummus. I'm gonna add a little bit of cumin. You can do whatever you want. That's why I like taste it before you're done. I didn't even taste the hummus, but I made the hummus so much. I just know it's good. So I don't, to be honest, I mean, I'll have to see about this soup, but I really think it has what it needs. But if you wanted to get another vegetable in your meal plan for the week, then that would be a great option to do. So I'm going to, you already saw that I have the beets and the artichokes here. Though these will go in the fridge once I open them, but they're just not in the fridge right now. And then we have our soup, which will cool down in a little bit. And then I'll put it in my 2-cup Pyrex. I have some potatoes for the week. This will probably only be 2 meals, so I'll probably continue to do. And they're cooling off, but you know, I'm gonna keep them out for a little bit. But for the purpose of today, you are going to come along with me right here to my fridge. All right, so I have a bunch of sauerkraut in the top here. And for me, I just buy it in bulk. So there's a bunch here. I have my quinoa, I just made 1 cup for 2 cups of water, no salt, nothing. And so I have 3 portions of this. I have my corn that I will, I'll just make with my bowls. I have my ranch dressing. I have my tofu. And I have my hummus here. For my kitchen, I like to put kind of condiments up here that I need to eat or that I have extra of. This is like all cooked food that's already ready. And then down below here is my all the veggies I just cut. The additional things that you did not see today are my kale. And I like to add kale to a salad or to a stir fry. And then I just have a mixed green bag of lettuce that I put in there. So everything's cut. My Better Booch kombucha down there. I have my mushrooms stored in these beautiful bags. It's actually linen refrigerator bags. Highly, highly recommend them. I have a promo code on my website if you want to buy them, but this is specifically a mushroom bag. And then I have more mushrooms, and then I have the rest of my raw sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, okay? The other thing that you did not see me do is cut up yellow onions to put on my salad this week. So that is already ready to go. And then I have just extra scallops, garlic, and onion in my fridge here, ready to rock and roll. And then over here, I just have my simple condiments, just random stuff, you know, my sourdough starter. I don't even have a lot of condiments. And then I have more tofu down below with my cashews and my dates when I do use those. So that's that. And then my freezer here, my dog's treats are back there, but I vacuum seal all of my corn tortillas and flour tortillas and my lavash in here. Then I have all of my potatoes that I buy frozen. I have all of my rice, so you can see I have plenty of rice here. And then all my fruit is here. So I didn't actually buy a lot of fruit this week because I'm gonna use frozen. Like, just if I want to eat fruit, I will have frozen cherries, berries, and let them thaw out or put them in the microwave. And then I have more just frozen veggie mix that I use for the soup. I do sourdough, whole grain flatbreads, so those are there. I also here have like a guacamole that I made and put in little circles, and I froze them. But this is also frozen lemon cubes, just in case I ran out of lemons. Like, sometimes I want to make hummus and then I'm like, I don't have any lemons. What the heck? So as you can see, I am prepped and ready for the week. So the only thing that's missing from the fridge from today's call is literally the potatoes and this amazing soup. Y'all, I might actually want to put some tomatoes in it because it's just cooking down so nicely. Let me taste it again. I don't know. I'm really liking the flavor of it without decisions, right? I think I should just keep it like that, to be honest. Maybe next week I'll do, last week I did a tomato. And yeah, so that was what I had for today's class, all around your grocery list and your batch cook. And so based on what I just showed you, an ideal day for me would be like overnight oats, or I just make oats in the morning with a little bit of water, soy milk, add some berries on top, banana, whatnot. Have that, easy peasy. And then the next meal, and then I would probably do the lettuce. The lettuce I didn't show you is just like leafy greens. So I basically cut that up, put some berries on top of that with some sauerkraut for breakfast, 50-50. Then for lunch, what I would do is I'm gonna do my salad with my quinoa in it, okay? With all of my fixins. I'm gonna make a nourish bowl. However you wanna make a nourish bowl, the components are super easy. And then I'm gonna have the bean soup, and that's gonna be my lunch all week, Monday through Friday, probably. You'll see, but like, usually that's what it is. And then the next one would be at night, I'll probably do roasted veggies with potatoes. Put it all in the air fryer with some tofu possibly, and that would be an amazing meal. Or I'll do French fries with probably steamed veggies and have that. And then incorporating that ranch and that hummus, nourish bowl. Put some ranch dressing, mix it with the lettuce if you wanted to, or drizzle it on top with about 1 to 2 tablespoons of hummus. That would be amazing. And then at night, you could dip your russet potato, your potato, anything like that inside of your hummus or your ranch, or grab the ketchup, grab whatever. But this meal, this week's batch is all about showing you to how to have the veggies. The veggies is the thing that some people forget to batch, having them available at all times. And then snacking, you can have the hummus or the ranch with the cucumbers and carrots. So we didn't even have to actually batch that much to create all those meals. But once again, repetition. It's not even about recipes. It's literally about just repetition and eating the same things. But like, so like, that's basically showing you that like, I'm having this soup every lunch, and I'm gonna have a salad every lunch. And then at night, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with the potatoes, whatever I wanna do with the potatoes. And here's the thing, I still have a freezer full of potatoes. I could just make the hash browns when I run out of those potatoes. Or I could make more potatoes because I already have them in the fridge, right? Like I can cut them and go through that whole process. There are so many options to eat healthy this week. I'm not eating out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm literally staying home and nourishing my body with this amazing food. And it just doesn't get much better than that. I'm still debating. Like, do I put tomatoes in this? I just don't know. Like, here's the thing, 4 cups, I thought was going to be a little bit too much. and we put a tiny bit of water into it. It cooks down in such a really cool way. So that is what I have for you all today. I appreciate you being here, tuning in, learning about how to not only plan and prep, but batch. Like, get these foods in your fridge ready to go to put meals together. That starch and that vegetable. And I also bought bananas. So those are the only things that a lot of this I already had on hand. I already had all the soup fixings. I didn't even have to buy anything for the soup fixings. Amazing. I didn't even have to buy anything for the hummus or the ranch. I already had these things on hand, which is amazing. So the only things I really spent money on at the store, and it was about $80 this week, is like the lettuce, the veggies, all of that stuff. I also got sprouts, so I didn't show you those, but I'll also put some sprouts, some broccoli sprouts on top of my salads throughout the week as well. And so my whole, and I buy all organic, so that ended up being about $80 for basically the fruits and the vegetables, because I had a lot of the other things. So this meal plan could be, or this week, it could be a little bit more, but I decide that I want to buy organic. This doesn't mean that you need to, but it just, you get to decide. Like, it's your kitchen, it's your rules. I buy only all organic. But that doesn't mean you have to. Like, literally, the soup could have some more water. And I really just wanted you all to have the fundamental things. We made a dip and we made a sauce and we made a soup. We prepped our tofu. We can buy or make and have these things on hand. Like, if you didn't want pickled beets, you could have roasted beets while we were doing all the cooking and then cut them up and add them to your salad. You don't have to buy these items. You can do it from scratch if you want to. Or you can buy the slaw and not cut it and save maybe 15 minutes. And so the ranch is great. The hummus is good. Like, it's just, these foods are just going to fill you up throughout the whole entire week. I will close if there's not any other questions or comments about today, but you all have this batch cooking little handbook that goes, and I think the cool part about it today is that, like, I only wanted to use 1 cup of garbanzo beans. You can still make the recipe. You just have to decide how you're going to kind of alter it. And so I just appreciate you being in my kitchen with me today and allowing me to share just like some tips and tricks. And heck, you might have known all this, but maybe it'll get you inspired to really get back into the kitchen and make really good food. So thank you so much. I will be around if you do have any questions, and get in the kitchen and prep. And I hope you have a beautiful week nourishing your body with starches and vegetables. The last things for me are going to be to put my potatoes away and just let this soup cool down, burners off, and I may have it for lunch today. And then I will put it in, once again, just these 2-cup Pyrex for the week. So I literally warm it up. And when it comes to my salad, I'm just going to bring all my fixings out, all my containers, line them up, and grab from them. And then grab my ranch dressing or my hummus, maybe do a few things in the air fryer at night. So also too, this batch is great if you work during the day and you need to bring your Nourish bowl to work. Use the rice, use the quinoa, because that's really going to be good to put into that bowl. If you want to warm it up, or if you're just going to have it cold, and then at night you can spend the time maybe roasting the potatoes, or spending a little bit more time. And the soup, all you have to do is warm up. So make those overnight oats, make your oatmeal. Oatmeal is just so full and satisfying, and is a really good start to your day. So have a beautiful rest of your day, and just keep nourishing yourself with these beautiful whole foods. That is the way we need to move. We need to be eating whole foods to nourish our bodies. So, all right, see you all. Bye.